see how this works out.
Tell me about the children.
So the interesting thing about this part of the game is that,
Dr. Halsey.
despite it being a prologue, we have no idea when it takes place.
You already know everything.
We know that
You kidnapped them.
Dr. Halsey was stationed at
Children's minds are
Ivanov Station,
accepting of indoctrination.
working on
Their
foreigner
body is
artifacts
more
that were being
adaptable
pulled
to
from Gamma Halo,
The result,
as well as working on integrating foreigner technology, specifically
and because
the
of our
slip
success,
space
when the Covenant
engines
invaded,
into infinity.
Dr. Halsey, you're bending history for your own favor, and you know it. You developed the Spartans.
Many people
to
ask
fight
the
human
question
rebellion,
of...
not to fight the Covenant.
Excuse me, geez, I have to burp.
one human
Many people
mind
ask the
can
question
never
of
fail.
what's up with
When my
these
Spartans were
scenes
all
we're
that stood
seeing.
between
Because
humanity
obviously,
and extinction, nobody
why
was
are all these Spartans
concerned about
wearing...
why they were originally built?
Geez, sorry, keep burping.
So you feel
Why are all
the
these
choices
Spartans
were
wearing
justified.
Mjolnir that, you know, was specifically made
My
for
work
Master Chief by
saved
Cortana?
the human race.
Well,
Do you think the...
it's obviously
Spartans
because
they
the
see humanity
scenes
help?
we're seeing here are thematic and not representation.
after?
They're not. It's not a representation of what actually
the others
occurred.
before you were naval
It's
intelligence,
meant to
but
be a
you,
thematic sort of
You're something else.
Records show
basically just
routinely
clips that are
exhibited
meant to go along with
sociopathic
what Dr.
tendencies,
Halsey is saying and try to just show what the
difficulty
Covenant
with
world was
The
like.
records show efficient behavior.
The
operating
other
in
thing, though, is
positive
that
situations.
despite the armor being
I
custom made
supplied the
but
tools
for the
to
Master Chief by
maintain
Cortana,
that efficiency.
the armor itself is a extremely reminiscent of an older model of Mjolnir Mark
What
IV.
does John have to do with this?
Halo 5 Collector's Unlimited Edition is coming with
Replace him.
a visual sort of
The Master Chief is
cartoon version of
This file reads,
the
"Missing
Fall of
in
Reach,
action."
and some of the screenshots we have
Catherine.
actually show Master Chief
Spartans
wearing
never die.
armor that looks very similar to this.
Seeing Spartans
Obviously in
as
a
military
time period where he
hardware.
must be wearing Mark IV.
My Spartans are humanity's next step. Our destiny as a species. Do not underestimate them. But most of all, do not underestimate.
I didn't realize the first perhaps dozen or so times I played the campaign how much Halsey's line as Spartans being the destiny of humanity, how important that is. Many people think that when the librarian tells the Master Chief that he was planned for and Cortana was planned for, that it's specifically him. Well, obviously, with Halsey saying what she did, it implies more so that the Spartans were not necessarily planned for, but the idea of them was planted in humanity by the Forerunners to prepare us for something, of course, which the librarian never elaborates on. We see here that the Forward Unto Dawn looks extremely different from what it looked like in Halo 3. This is mostly due to artistic license. The Forward Unto Dawn is a Charon class light frigate, and it still looks like that, canonically speaking. However, 343 Industries obviously revamped Halo's art style in Halo 4 and the Reclaimer Saga, and they made a brand new type of frigate called the Strident class frigate. I can't recall if it's a light or heavy frigate. I'm more inclined to say heavy frigate, though. However, the Forward Unto Dawn looking like a Strident class frigate is purely artistic in nature. panels that Cortana is swiping through actually contain relevant information to the ship. It's not just a bunch of random stuff. I've seen still images of everything the game shows us, which is pretty cool.
Wake up, Chief. I need you.
I obviously addressed this a bit earlier during the prologue, regarding the Master Chief's armor.
We're still adrift on the Dawn.
Why did you wake
They
me?
mentioned that Cortana
Hang on.
did
Bringing your systems online now.
sort of create this custom for the Master Chief the way it looks now, because obviously it looks nothing like the Mark 6 in Halo 3, or Halo 2 for that matter.
Chief, look up. You need to pull the manual.
Sort of a suggestion by Frank O'Connor to the fans is that nano machines had something to do with it.
Seems like
UNSC does have nanotechnology. It's never been used, never been shown extensively in the games or even really mentioned in the books, but it still exists. It's still there. The Warthogs make use of nanotechnology and nanomachines, I believe. And so does Mjolnir. And not just, obviously some of you might be thinking back to Mjolnir Mark 7, which is confirmed to have pretty, well, relatively extensive nanotechnology.
Sensor scan, high intensity.
I'll take a break from talking about the armor to sort of analyze this.
It's directly above us.
So you can see here that the ship was supposed to slingshot around Requiem, but Requiem pulled the ship in. Now that Cortana's out of the ship, she can't really monitor the ship's location relative to the planet. So that's why when we leave the ship and we see Requiem, she's confused. Not necessarily because of rampancy, but because she didn't expect the ship to change course like that. Going back to Mjolnir Mark 6, so sort of a retcon, I guess, but I don't know if it really classifies as a retcon, because we don't know everything about Mjolnir Mark 6. Really, the Mjolnir marks, or the types of Mjolnir we know the most about, is 4 and 5. 4 being gone into heavy detail, and 5 basically being the same as 4, albeit with neural interface port and energy shields. Now, Halo 5's descriptions for Mjolnir Mark 6 in the beta that we had access to does farther support the Master Chief's armor was changed by nanomachines. Many people didn't know if Mark 6 had nanomachines in it, or if the Dawn had nanomachines. If the Dawn had nanomachines, then the question is, how'd they get into the cryopod? Obviously, you could argue they're on a nanoscale, so they don't have to break the seal of the cryopod to get into it, to mess with Chief's armor. The other,
these Covenant aren't outfitted like standard military.
yeah, but the description though for Mjolnir Mark 6 in Halo 5 multiplayer beta indicates that Mark 6 does make use of limited nanotechnology or nanomachine technology. It has the armor itself has auto repair nodes capable of doing repairs, I guess, to the armor. We don't know how extensive the repairs can be done, but we know that it exists. It's not out of the question that Cortana would be able to reprogram them for over the course of 4.5 years to do something a bit more extensive than just repairs. Hold on here. When the game first came out, many people initially thought that these Covenant cruisers were CCS class battle cruisers, which are the main Covenant ships we've seen in the franchise since Halo 1. Really with Bungie, we've only ever seen two types of Covenant ships, the CCS class battle cruisers and the CAS class assault carriers. Oh, I guess also the CSO class super carrier and Reach.
We've got bigger problems. We've got a cruiser on an intercept course. Head for the elevator banks.
However, the small nature of these ships bothered people due to the fact they looked like CCS class battle cruisers. However, some fans correctly guessed that they were CRS class light cruisers, which are significantly smaller than really anything we've known the UNSC or even Covenant to produce. Well, this is an interesting glitch. That stopped. It was continually vibrating for me. Cortana, when we were in the observation deck, Cortana guesses that the Covenant were fighting against our rogue faction or group of salvaging ships.
Assuming they don't raise them, that missile's gonna be one heck of a surprise.
Both of those assumptions are obviously incorrect, as we know. But she also indicates that they're not outfitted like standard military. With the Halo 5 footage we've seen, we see that the Arbiter's Swords of San Helios faction are equipped with Storm-class Storm assault harnesses, leading some to question if these guys aren't outfitted like standard military, then why are the Swords of San Helios utilizing this wacky, unusual armor? The truth about this armor isn't that it's low-tech or sort of scrabbled together. It's existed in the Covenant for a very, very long time. We've never seen it utilized by the Covenant, at least on a large scale, until now. Because the Covenant in the war with humanity never really had to do any type of like all-out assault or siege type maneuvers against humanity due to the extremely weak nature, low technology of our ships and fortifications. This is also why the Lich, which we see in Halo 4, has not really been seen until this, you know, post-war era. It's because it was used in sort of all-out assault roles, where the Lich would pull up to an enemy position, and then sort of just non-stop vomit out, not really vomit, but non-stop, you know,